Hello there. Here on the Big Daddy D reviews, we tend to look at movies. Some tend to be quite good and some tend to be quite crap. We also have a look from time to time at dodgy sort of bootleg stuff from Poundland and other sort of dodgy flea markets. For today's video, we're going to combine those two elements together. We're going to take a look at some dodgy, nasty, knockoff, bootleg, pirate DVD covers. Now, I'm not condoning piracy in any way. I'm not trying to glam it up or anything like that. There is a lot of things that go out there to say that piracy funds terrorism and what have you. Although in my experience, it just tends to be some bloke down the local pub trying to get some more beer money. Now, the quality of the actual DVD transfer itself is irrelevant in this video. All we're here to do is to point out the dodgy photoshopping, the broken pigeon English, and the bizarre crossovers. You see, sometimes you'll get characters and actors from different films and TV programmes superimposed onto the DVD cover along with the original cast in an attempt to try and make it sell better in China or Taiwan or wherever these bloody things are produced. So, if you want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger in Star Wars or Harry Potter joining the Fellowship of the Ring, yes really, then stay tuned to this video. As myself and the Little Daddy E are going to take a look at some of the best and funniest bootleg pirate DVDs.
So we start off with this one for Batman Begins. It's quite a well-known one. There's lots of stolen artwork from a number of different Batman films and TV shows. And
There's a bit from a video game there.
There is. Now then, Little Daddy E, would you like to read the plot that's on the back of the DVD? Read it out quite loudly so the rest of us can all hear.
Alright, let's have a read. Batman Begins. When being a child, Bruce Wayne had witnessed with his own eyes the fact his parents of millionaire were killed cruelly, so affected his strong desire of revenging his parents. However, God had never given him a chance to fulfill his will following the advice of Ra's al Ghul, the chief of Ninja Group, by the way, was a comma earlier.
If I could just stop you there as well, Ninja Group sounds an awful lot like a Godfrey Ho movie.
Yeah, the chief of Ninja Group. Bruce come to Gete, which was a corrupted city filled with various crime groups. Bruce found a basement under his villa, in which the equipment turned him into another person. Spider-Man.
What?
Spider-Man. It says Batman, but put Spider on the back.
So Batman is Spider-Man.
With this mask, Spider-Man stroke all criminal activities and criminals everywhere.
He stroked them.
Oh my. Such as Tugon, the chief of Mafia, Dr. Jack Straw, the abnormal drug trafficker, even a mysterious opponent quite familiar with him.
Wow.
A millions exclamation marks.
Right, I'm quite interested as to who this Tugon is. Jack Straw, I'm assuming that's meant to be the Scarecrow.
Dr. Jack Straw.
Dr. Jack Straw.
Yeah.
Well, does anything further need to be said then? Batman is in fact Spider-Man.
He found a mask which turned him into another person. Oh, Batman? No, Spider-Man. But it says Batman on the thing.
Next up, we have the Will Smith film I Am Legend.
I think that might be Chinese knockoff.
What gives it away?
Like the little subtitle. I can't tell if it's Chinese or Korean. I'm terrible with Asian languages, I'm sorry.
The front cover doesn't look too bad, but it soon becomes apparent that this is a bootleg when we look at the back cover. Apparently Adam Sandler is in this movie, and he's simply remarkable. Except that Adam Sandler's not in this film at all.
What?
Unless, of course, Adam Sandler plays the part of Will Smith's dog. How about this one? Sean Connery versus the Cock. This appears to be a DVD with more than one film on it, because it says 48 on 1.
What?
Now, I could just make out that it looks like there's a number of Highlander films on here. The Hunt for Red October is one of the films. I would also assume that another one of these films is The Scorpion King, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, along with The Rock, starring Sean Connery. Now, there's no connection between The Rock and The Rock, although the word rock has changed one of its letters at some point, and now, well, what do you want me to say? It's like when the bootleggers do Spider-Man sometimes, and they change the name to change one of the letters, so it's Spader-Man.
What the hell's a spader?
Exactly. They've obviously changed one of the words from The Rock, and
Spader-Man.
what they've got is something completely different. Finally, the Cock has... Actually, I won't finish that sentence. Okay, next up is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Not a bad DVD representative at all. But one thing that you tend to see on bootleg DVDs is misplaced or misinterpreted critic quotes. And this one particularly here next to Jim Carrey's face that says, "Too self-absorbed to fully connect with an audience." What makes this even more fun is that the quote is actually placed right next to Jim Carrey, as if he's looking up at himself, and Kate Winslet is thinking, "Yes, we are too self-absorbed to fully connect with an audience."
Wow.
Okay, next one is The Lion King 2.
Oh, God.
Simba's Pride.
The Lion King.
Not only is the title misspelt, but the critic quote on the back of this
Not-
says...
The critic quote says, "Not as good as the first one, but okay."
Well, I don't know about you, but that's me sold.
The Lion King.
Yep.
Sounds like some sort of weird porn parody.
Next up is Old Boy. Now this is another misquote for Spike Lee's take on the Korean revenge classic, Old Boy. Now the bootleggers have put in a positive review at the bottom from Movie Fanatic, as the bottom quote saying, "Riveting, mind-blowing, Josh Brolin gives the performance of his career."
But much bigger, right at the top,
Yep.
it says...
When it came to the all-important top pull quote there, they selected a line from a one-sentence review of the film by a B. McIntosh on Amazon.com who says...
"An unnecessary subpar remake."
Yep. Not a non-too-flattering review at that. Next up is The Perfect Man. Now this DVD bootleg of The Perfect Man, starring Hilary Duff, looks pretty much spot on. Apart from, again, the misplaced critic quotes that state that the film has an idiotic plot and is to be endured rather than enjoyed. Which I don't think is the kind of thing that Universal would want to have on their DVD covers somehow. Next up is J. Edgar.
What?
Leonardo DiCaprio's portrayal of the life of J. Edgar Hoover is changed into what appears to be some sort of B-movie action flick, with the tagline of "the most powerful man in the world."
It looks like some sort of Michael Bay movie. We appear to have art stolen from some sort of space sci-fi with exploding spaceships above a planet.
Well, we've got lots of explosions and a lot of scantily clad, large-breasted women. None of which actually appears in the film, which is a shame, really. Next up, The Matrix Reloaded. The people behind this Chinese bootleg didn't even bother trying to make sense of the confusing premise that was the sequel to The Matrix. Instead, they decided that the Wachowski brothers were presenting a story about...
The white men wanted the studs to breed slaves.
And just like that, the true meaning of the entire trilogy is revealed.
What?
As Neo would say, whoa.
What? What?
And now it's time for a trip to Hogwarts with Harry Potter. Would you like to read the blurb that's on the back of this box?
Oh, this is going to be fun. Jackson Pollock is the greatest living fainter in the Uniac states. I'll rest well congut newly wanteth. If you are a little boy, you must like the film. So you can't just like, oh, you will like this film. You must like the film.
If you are a little boy, you must like this film.
You must like this film or suffer. Become the film is very beautiful and very tunny. Hope everybody can watch this film quick, since that you maybe find a different file. Another world. Let's go to see quickly.
Right. So, we started with some gibberish about a young Hogwarts student called Jackson Pollock, who
And
is
he-
destined to become the greatest living fainter in what I assume is supposed to be the United States.
Oh, it says New York States.
From there, the blurb then turns into a bizarre quasi-review that states that if you are a little boy, you must like the film. Well, you've convinced me. Let's go watch it. Quickly.
Otherwise, the Chinese secret police will hunt you down. I mean, nothing.
Another Harry Potter bootleg has the quote, "But I leave any day now," by Wat Wittgenavsky.
What? I don't think...
A movie star plots revenge after suffering near tragedy due to relentless hounding by an unsavoury ring of tabloid photographers. Harry Potter and his friends Ron and Hermione return as witchcraft and wizardry for their third year of study, where they delve into the mystery.
Where did the movie star come from?
I'm not too sure. It's like one of those Godfrey Ho movies where they've like take two separate films and tried to splice them into one. Bonkers. And that's not quite enough either, because Harry Potter does show up one more time here.
What?
Where Harry appears on this absurd creation that combines Potter with The Lord of the Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean.
What?
So God knows what movie this actually is.
What? But we made him just mishmash loads of different cover art
Yes,
as well.
it's quite a jumbled mess, isn't it?
So it was like a bit from the first Harry Potter film mixed with a bit from the last.
It's all very, very messy.
I'm scared.
Next up, Drive. Ryan Gosling looks somewhat bemused that a random photo of his head has been superimposed on top of what appears to be some artwork for Far Cry 3.
I think it is, actually.
The picture of Ryan Gosling actually comes from an article that he appeared in GQ magazine, so it's completely out of place. Also, there's a lot of explosions and gun-toting actors dotted around the place that aren't actually in the film itself.
That also appears with Neo from The Matrix at the bottom right.
It could be, yes.
Or someone pretending to be him. So this is that other one, but I leave any day now. That's like a forum post.
Next up, RV, one of the last films that the late Robin Williams appeared in. Would you like to read some of the blurb? The blurb at the top is, on a family vacation, no one can hear you scream. Alright, fair enough. The blurb at the bottom says...
Spent together for 2 weeks. Let the whole family sink into unable to K or laugh. Embarrassing situation.
Yes.
What?
I agree, I think.
That sounds like some sort of horrifying torture method.
Next up is Buffalo Soldiers. A quick note to bootleggers out there. Being irritated and toothless, according to the Chicago Sun-Times, is not a compliment. Next up, Indiana Jones.
Where Indiana Jones appears with some random woman who never appears and has a sword.
Yes, we've got
carelessly photoshopped onto him.
We've got ourselves a constipated-looking Harrison Ford, badly superimposed onto someone else's body, holding a broadsword that covers most of his face and was something that Indy definitely did not use throughout any of the movies. And who the hell is this random woman on the front cover with him?
There also appears to be a scene from a Wild West movie at the bottom, and the Eye of Sauron.
Oh my god, yes, I've only just noticed that. The Eye of Sauron is present in this film. Indiana Jones and the Eye of Sauron.
What? What even is this?
Star Wars, science fiction performed distinctive.
Why Arnold Schwarzenegger? Why?
Really, you should probably know that Big Arnie doesn't show up in The Phantom Menace, or indeed any of the Star Wars films, although that would have made it way better. I would actually pay money to see a version of The Phantom Menace where Dutch from Predator shows up and sprays Jar Jar Binks with bullets, but only after Jar Jar shouted, "Misa, get to the chopper!" But it's a classic movie, so who are we to argue?
Yeah, according to a rip-off Apple logo.
Yes. Pepe likes tacos. The DVD cover features Tom Cruise, Helen Hunt, and Sandra Bullock. It also, in the bottom right-hand corner, features the Warriors, and in the top left-hand corner, they've got the house from Jaws. All of them are badly photoshopped together. To the best of my knowledge, these three actors have never appeared in a film together, and Pepe Likes Tacos does not show up in the filmography for any of these actors on the Internet Movie Database.
What kind of a title is that?
What is this film about? Your guess is as good as mine.
Someone called Pepe who likes tacos? Although, then again, knowing this is probably not it.
Next up is Hot Fuzz, or Girds the Angst.
Girds the Angst!
This Chinese bootleg of Hot Fuzz does away with poor old Nick Frost altogether and replaces him with this mystery woman, alongside Simon Pegg. Also, apparently, Michael Madsen and Ron Livingston are in this film as well.
What? Girds... No, that doesn't even say angst, that appears to say angst.
Next up, does anybody remember that great moment during Season 2 of Game of Thrones where Ned Stark got dressed up as Thor?
What?
Yep, me neither.
What? Why?
And then finally, we have 50 First Dates, but it's the bootleg version. It's called 50 Fist Dates.
Oh my.
And I think Drew Barrymore's face says it all, really. And that's it for this video. So, if you do come across any more of these, please share them at the Facebook and Twitter pages, and I may even feature them in a further video.